Welcome to another episode of Don't Call It Small. I'm your host, Natasha Foreman. If you don't know about me, you have no clue what this podcast is all about. Let me share a bit. I'm the CEO of Foreman & Associates, and Don't Call It Small is where we share all things business, tips and news that you can use, and highlight the people and ideas behind the products and services that we buy. To learn more about me and my company, please visit foremanllc.com. Woo! Yes, it's Wednesday, October 9th. I hope that you're having an amazing day, a super awesome day. It has been an interesting week, but before I get started, let me give some birthday shout outs. Yesterday was my girl Taylor Stanley's birthday. If you're listening, Taylor, happy birthday. It's been forever since we've seen and spoken to each other. Hopefully we can connect soon. Another birthday shout out goes to my friend and big bro, Guy Green. Today is his big day. Now next week I will shout out some more birthday folks. October is the month. It's the month. Yes, I'm so excited. You just don't know. 22 days I'll be celebrating my birthday on a girls trip. I'm really excited about that. So I also want to celebrate your birthday anniversaries. If you've been paying attention on our social media, we've sent out our text line, the phone number for you to text and share information. We also want you to share your business anniversaries. So include your business name and the month, day, and year your company launched so that we can, celebrate you when that time comes. So let's focus on October launches right now. So if you didn't launch until April, can you wait until at least March to share that with us? But if you launched your business in October, whether it's, you're just now going to launch, or you just launched 2 days ago, or you launched, 25 years ago in the month of October, please text area code 404-481-1849. Once again, that's 404 area code 481-1849. Alrighty then, moving along. Last week in episode 15, we promoted soon-to-be 10-year-old Kyler Eric Smith's new book, I Define Me, which you can purchase now on Amazon for $12.99. I attended his launch event last Saturday, and it was awesome. It was packed. Oh my goodness, it was packed with children and adults purchasing his book, his t-shirts, to bring awareness to dyslexia spectrum in honor of National Dyslexia Awareness Month. If you haven't purchased the book, I Define Me, please do. You can go to Amazon and purchase a few copies, one for you, one for a child you know, and one to donate to a public library. Last week, we also discussed the 20 reasons why businesses fail, and as promised, today's episode will examine the U.S. cities and states that seem to be thriving for business owners and those areas which are suffering, as the data shows. I'll also be introducing you to some women and men who love what they do in their respective careers. They're all business owners, and they're in different states in the U.S. And so let's see if their cities and states make the list for most thriving. Are you ready to get started? All right, then let's do this. I have a quote from former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Now, let me stop you now. Don't start rolling your eyes and sucking your teeth. It has nothing to do with his current prison time for extortion, bribery, and other wide-ranging political corruption. No, it's very much focused on today's topic, and it's very appropriate. He said, years ago, that a successful economic development strategy must focus on improving the skills of the area's workforce, reducing the cost of doing business, and making available the resources business needs to compete and thrive in today's global economy. Now, although Rod, did what Rod did, I will say that is a very succinct look at what we must do in order to help businesses thrive. And Last year, Wallet Hub created a list of U.S. states that have the most failed businesses and the best U.S. states that you should look closely at for your business moves. That's what they say. And since according to the data provided by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, roughly 1/5 of all businesses will go belly up with no hope of resuscitation within year one, and nearly half of businesses never get to celebrate their 5th anniversary. So it's important to understand the ecosystem where you intend to launch or move your hell of a great idea called a business. So let's go ahead and look over the list that Wallet Hub provided for 2019. They've done this previous years, so let's look at 2019. And let's be very clear, they didn't just randomly pull information from the air or anywhere else. They didn't tell their team to go to sleep and then when they wake up, write down the first dates that come to mind. No. They use the data from the U.S. Department of Labor and Statistics and other sources as they outline the business environment in the states, access to resources, and the cost of running a business in those areas. And they use 26 metrics. And I'm going to go through them quickly, but I will also highlight and elaborate on any type of sources that they used or any ways in which they calculated it. And then, of course, you can go to Wallet Hub to see for yourself. You'll come to Foreman Associates blog, and I will have the links for these studies provided for you so that you can quickly access them. Now, I'm a researcher by nature, so I wanted to explore the methodology that they used and dig deeper into the 26 metrics. You may not care, but I just am like that, because especially when it's anything doing with statistics and anything that's used to sway the opinion of people, I'm always going to dig to know, well, how did you draw those conclusions? And then I'll form my own opinion based on that. So let me do a quick overview. They use data from the U.S. Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, the Center for Digital Government, National Venture Capital Association. They got data from Indeed.com, the Tax Foundation, the U.S. Cluster Mapping Project, which we'll talk about shortly, Deloitte, the New York Times, Gallup, U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the Council for Community and Economic Research, LoopNet, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, Kaiser Family Foundation, and from their own research. So they used quite a few sources. And they have on their website that national and state economic policies can greatly affect your business, the launch and creation and the direction in which you take after launching. And so for greater insight into ways that you can measure the impact on your business, what Wallet Hub did was they asked a panel of quote unquote experts to address these key questions. So there were 4 questions that they had them answer. The first one was, do you believe that the economic policies being enacted thus far by the current administration, which is President Trump's administration, will promote new business development? The second question was, to what extent do state policies such as corporate tax rates influence decisions about whether and where to start a business? 3, are tax breaks and other incentives to encourage new businesses on net a good or bad investment for states? And then number 4, what measures can state authorities undertake in order to encourage entrepreneurs to start new businesses in their state? So they gather all of that qualitative data as well, right? And all of this they blended in to really help shape how they move from there. So from my reading, I saw that they used 26 metrics. They graded on a 100-point scale with a score of 100 representing the most favorable conditions for a new business creation. And then they determined each state's weighted average across all metrics to calculate its overall score. And then from there, they used the resulting scores to rank order their samples. So I'm going to quickly run through the list. You can always visit their website to do further digging if that interests you. So the first cluster of categories is the business environment, and it had a weighted score of 50 points total. And under that cluster, here's the various categories that fall into business environment. So you have average length of work week and hours, the share of engaged workers. And what they did was they went to Gallup's report, the state of the American workplace. If you haven't read it, you should read it. I read it when Gallup first released it, where Gallup defines what an engaged employee is. And that's a person who's involved in, enthusiastic about, and committed to not only their work, but the workplace. So category 2 was share of engaged workers. Then they looked at the growth in number of small businesses, the number of startups per capita, the growth of average business revenues, the 5-year business survival rate. They looked at the variety of industries, and then they looked at the industry cluster strength, which, remember earlier I mentioned the U.S. cluster mapping project. Well, how strength is determined is it looks at the level of high employment specialization of a particular cluster, which is defined by that project as a regional concentration of related industries in a particular location. So they cluster based on the industries and look at the strength of that cluster. The next category is entrepreneurship index. Then it goes to share of fast growing firms. And they used Deloitte's report on the technology Fast 500 as a share of total firms in each state. So that's where they got their metric measures from, based on the number of firms in each state. The next 3 categories that follow under this overarching cluster is digital states, and then they looked at the job growth. They compared 2017 to the year 2013, and then they compared the GDP growth from 2017 to 2018. And so then we go into this second cluster of categories, which are the access to resources, and that's 25 points. So now we're up to 70 points, right? And so under that category, that overarching category, you have financing accessibility, and they calculated that by the total annual value of small business loans divided by the total number of small businesses. Then the next category is venture investment amount per capita, and then they went to the human capital availability. So how they calculated this, which is they look at the number of job openings per number of civilians in the labor force, and from that they subtract the unemployment rate. That's how they get the human capital availability. They then looked at the higher education assets by using the 2018 Best Universities Ranking Report that Wallet Hub conducted. The last 2 categories in this particular umbrella is the share of college-educated population. So they're looking at individuals 25 and older that have a bachelor's degree or higher. And then they looked at the working age population group. And working age is individuals 16 to 64. What'll be interesting is how that number increases beyond 64 in future years, right? Because we're seeing that people are working longer. Now, the last big cluster of categories is business costs, which is the remaining 25 points. They looked at office space affordability, so they're looking at the per square foot cost of commercial office space. They looked at labor cost, and they measured the median annual income of the state. And then they looked at the average annual single insurance premium per enrolled employee. Now, very clear, let's make clear, this isn't if you're a solo, like if you have your individual health insurance. This is looking at employer-based health insurance. So they didn't calculate in there if you're a solopreneur or if you're an independent contractor and you have your own independent insurance. So it's looking at from a business, what a business invests in. Then the last of 4 categories were corporate taxes, total effective state and local tax rates on mature corporate headquarters. So the mature corporate headquarters are companies that have been in business for a long time, right? So it's not the first 1 to 5 years. It's older businesses. And then the last 2 are total spending on incentives as a share of the GDP, which is the gross domestic product, and then the cost of living. All right, so most of us know what cost of living. So now we have the methodology. So now you know in all the areas, the categories in which they pulled these metrics, right? And you know the areas of focus to draw either the same, similar, or different conclusions from those that they've drawn. Now let's look at the list. We're going to look at the top 15 states to start a business. This is what is just on. This is what they're saying. Number one, they ranked Texas as number one. They got number one in business environment. They were number one overall. Then they were ranked number one in business environment. Number 11 to access to resources. Number 30 for business costs. Let's see. The person that came in the state in second place. Second place was awarded to Utah, the state of Utah. They ranked number 2 overall. For business environment, they got 7th. Access to resources 2. Business cost 26. The state of Georgia came in 3rd place, which surprised the mess out of me. No offense, Georgia, it just surprised me. Number 5 for business environment, 17 for access to resources, 13 for business cost. 4th place was North Dakota. That also surprised me. Number 2 for business environment, 19 for access to resources, and 32 for business costs. Number 5, they put Oklahoma. Business environment, 8, access to resources, 36, and they were number 1 for business costs. They ranked Florida as number 6. And I'm just going to go now rattle down. So I did those 5. Now I'm going to just go ahead and rattle down just for overall ranking. You can go to Wallet Hub to see in the other categories. So number 6 is Florida. 7th place is Arizona. 8th is California. 9th, Montana. 10th, Colorado. 11th, Idaho. 12th, Washington. 13th, Mississippi. 14th, North Carolina. 15th, Louisiana. And then you have, I just did the top 15. Then you got all these other states. Now let's look at now we just looked at what they said are the best. And what I want to now share with you are the what's considered the worst states. Okay? We're going to look at the worst states. So we're going to now go and do the bottom for the worst. And so number 35 would be Illinois. 36, Massachusetts. 37, Iowa. 38, South Carolina. 39, Virginia. 40, Maryland. 41, West Virginia. 42, New York. 43, Vermont. 44, Delaware. 45, Pennsylvania. 46, Connecticut. 47, Hawaii. 48, New Hampshire. 49, New Jersey. And the worst state to start a business is Rhode Island. That's what they have on their list. So Rhode Island was ranked number 50 out of all the states, worst, and best was Texas, is number 1. And I was like, whoa. I mean, was that eye-opening, jaw-dropping information to hear? I kept doing double takes. I found a quote from Donald Wilson that highlights the dilemmas facing business in so many states in the U.S. And he said, quote, everyone is saying small business is the engine of the economy, but we're not putting any gas in the tank. And I pondered that. I was like, that's something to think about. You have to really ponder that. You can have the engine, but if you're not pouring gas in it, the car's not going to go anywhere. And so when you look at the states, you look at our country, you look at the economy, right? If we're not investing in small business, if we're not fueling small business, they're not going to go. They're not going to thrive. And I know that when I was exploring the Wallet Hub list, as I mentioned earlier, I did some double takes. I mean, it was absolute amazement. It was also interesting that states that Wallet Hub's research ranked high, when I went to CNBC's America's Top States for Business study, some of the states that Wallet Hub had as high, CNBC ranked low. So, CNBC, if you don't know, they conduct their study every year. They've been doing this since 2007, and they rank all 50 states for business competitiveness, and they use more than 60 metrics in 10 categories. And those categories include workforce, economy, quality of life, and cost of doing business. They have other categories, of course. Now, they calculate 2,500 points in comparison to Wallet Hub's 100-point scale. So I'm just going to give you just a quick kind of view of how Wallet Hub's research varies from CNBC. So Wallet Hub ranked Virginia as number 39 on their list, while CNBC ranked Virginia number 1. And Wallet Hub's study ranked Texas as number 1, while CNBC ranked Texas as number 2. So I'm sure Texas is like, okay, I don't mind being 2, but number 1's better. But imagine you have this this huge difference between Virginia's 39 on one list and Virginia being 1 on another list. Another example is Wallet Hub ranked the state of Oklahoma at number 5 using their metrics and categories, while CNBC ranked Oklahoma at number 43. However, they ranked the state of Oklahoma number 2 in cost of living, number 13 in cost of doing business, and number 15 for business friendliness. So CNBC's explained on their website that because Oklahoma underfunds its schools, the state is at the bottom of education rankings, both in money and bottom tier test scores, which bleeds over to the workforce as state worker training programs are not getting the results they're supposed to get, and more than 1/3 of participants don't get jobs after they're done completing these programs. Then CNBC, of course, provides the economic growth for 2018 as a percent, right? As 1.8% for the state of Oklahoma. And then May of this year, their unemployment rate was at 3.2%. Now, one thing that Wallet Hub and CNBC studies did determine, they are both in total agreement, is that Rhode Island is the absolute worst of all 50 states for starting and running a business. That's where both of them are just steady with that. So, hearing all of this, what does it mean for you if you're contemplating starting a business or if you have a business already? Look, first, please don't relocate to a new state because of a new research study. Don't do that. I could probably find a handful of other studies that will have rankings that drastically differ these two. Research and statistics are always skewed. Did I just say statistics? Statistics. They're always skewed. They aren't perfect. They're not absolute. They're not 100%. They are prone to human error and bias. Additionally, what I place value on may not be as valuable to you. So when I rank on a score of 2,000 and you rank on a score of 100, you can see how numbers start shifting all over the place, right? Let's also not forget something else. Times and data change. States that are high ranked now weren't always that high, and the same is true for many states that are ranked low. Some businesses that boomed 50 plus years ago are in states that are now low ranking. And just because you happen to be in a state where the data warns you of high risk of failing, it doesn't mean that your business will fail. And just because you're in a state with high rankings doesn't mean your company will thrive. There are thousands of companies in Texas and California, ladies and gentlemen, that are crash and burn each year. And both of those are high ranking states. So let's be clear, if your business requires the mass utilization of natural resources located in the state where you currently are, then that's where your business should be. It may need to be there. You have to reimagine the box that the external environment wants to place upon you. If your state sucks in education, access to resources, availability of human capital, and the quality of the workforce, right? Not just that you have humans available, but the quality. And business costs are high there, then you have to be creative and innovative in your recruitment of that talent pool, and how you go about gaining access to resources and keeping your costs manageable. Maybe you have to reach outside of your comfort zone for help. Maybe you have to outsource work to third-party companies, like some of other companies in the same position as you, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, as the saying goes. Maybe your growth strategy is longer and slower than someone in a different state. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Do you remember what I said in episode 15 about running a race? It can be catastrophic to look around and behind you while you're running. You see people do it and they just tumble and fall or whatever. You're supposed to focus on your race and just be aware of your surroundings. And I say that to say, stop obsessing over what other people are doing. It's one thing to be aware of your competition. It's another thing to obsess to the point of your own demise. It's especially ignorant to compare your growth in a struggling state to that of a company in a state that has a better ecosystem. Also, if you recall what I said last week in episode 15, don't forget, you don't know the ins and outs of your competition's business. You can make assumptions, but you don't know. They may have less cost than you or greater access to resources. Just because they have tons of product lines, that doesn't mean you have to match them in a neck-to-neck race. You may start off neck-to-neck, but that bear, remember that bear I told you guys about in episode 15? Yeah, that bear will jump on your back, and soon all you will see is the fading silhouette of your competition. Maybe instead of blowing through your money trying to crank out 500 different product lines, you stick to a handful or less. You allow demand to pick up to a point where you can create a desire of expectation for the next release and unveiling. I mean, look at how the masters of marketing do it. Look at Apple, for instance. They build anticipation for people who just bought a phone, but now they want the new one. I mean, that's powerful. If you have product that consumers are always seeking to upgrade or buy more of, then that can be your strategy. If you make furniture, then you're going to have to look at your best sellers and focus only on those. Don't keep cranking out a bunch of stuff that no one is buying. And that's the case regardless if it's furniture or t-shirts, right? So it could be with the furniture store that you need to consider 1 to 3 price levels based on the quality and craftsmanship being marketed and sold. And you market the value, and the consumer determines your declaration through their purchase, right? Because if they think that it's that at that value, then that's what they'll invest in. So here's some other tips. Don't be quick to launch in or transition to a storefront. This always really is mind-boggling to me. Try to keep your costs as low as possible for as long as possible. You can have an online store. You could pay for space in someone's store. You could be as creative as your mind will go and your ego will allow. You're only small if you say so. And what do I say always, every single week? Don't call what you're planning, thinking, dreaming, or doing little or small. Go big, go bold, or go nowhere, right? And that means you have to think differently to get different results. You may have a vision of having a large company, but don't let that vision fool you into growing and scaling too fast. When you sprint in a marathon, that bear will crawl up on your back and rest the full weight of his body on you. And what did I say last week about the bear? It's hungry and it's heavy and it's used to dragging you down to your face and stomping on you. Don't get dragged and stomped on. Run the pace set for the marathon. Strategize. Stop playing checkers while the game is chess. Stop playing gin rummy when the game is spades. Stop trying to fast track and take shortcuts. Sometimes it's helpful, but oftentimes it's just the dark alley with that luring figure waiting to pounce on you. No one that you admire in business made it to where they are overnight or even in 1 year. It took them years. It took countless failures. What is something that I share just about every week? Get help with whatever you need help with, and get help to discover what help that you need in the areas that you're blind to, not paying attention to, or think that you have it together. Because guess what? You don't know what you don't know. So get some help. Maybe you need help from one of the entrepreneurs that I'm about to introduce you to. Let's see. Maybe you need a virtual assistant. Remember what I said about reimagining your circumstances? It's not rethinking the box, it's reimagining it, right? It's not thinking outside of it, it's reimagining it. Having a virtual assistant can help you to manage 2 things that are finite in this world: money and time. Virtual assistants can assist with managing your calendar, projects, the work of other freelancers, and other tasks that you need to delegate. VAs can assist you by taking over the reins of researching things or information that you need. And one of the biggest mistakes that new business owners make is thinking that they can do it all. They fail to delegate enough or at all. Imagine delegating 80% of the administrative tasks that consume your day so that you can focus on 20% of the tasks that are vital to at least 80% of your revenue. Are you interested yet? Well, let me keep going. I want to introduce you to Collab VA, an agency that provides virtual executive assistant services. And let me tell you in which areas: administrative, marketing, customer service, and bookkeeping. Collab VA is currently serving Bethesda, Maryland, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Washington, D.C., and Raleigh, North Carolina. And their motto is, quote, "Your keys to success, we execute." They specialize in startups, solopreneurs, and small businesses, and they launched because its founders saw that business relationships were becoming more transactional, and in doing so, eliminating the essence and opportunities that make the magic of business happen. And through Collab VA, you won't experience what has grown to be the typical transactional VA interaction. Their assistants are focused on aligning with your company's mission, vision, and values to help you execute the strategies that led to your past and your current success, and for those strategic moves that you're going to be making in your future. So who's the woman behind Collab VA? Her name is Mateen, and she prides herself on being able to quickly and efficiently understand and meet her clients' needs. She desires to work with business owners with a vision and passion for change. I want you to contact Ashley today for a free consultation and to learn more about the packages that Collab VA offers. You can reach her by phone at area code 703-505-6338. Once again, that's area code 703-505-6338. You can visit her website, collabva.com. That's COLLAB, V as in Victor, A as in Apple.com. Email her directly at Ashley, ASHLEY, at collabva.com. And you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at collabva. Don't sleep on it. You guys know you need to have some virtual assistants. You need this help. You need help with that bookkeeping so you can pass that over to your accountant or your CPA. Delegate so that you can be freed up to focus on what you need most. All right, next up is a woman that I've known since she was in middle school, and then she joined me in high school. She's chosen to live a beautiful life. She's a messenger, coach, healer, beauty activist, professor, do-it-yourself enthusiast, those DIYers. She's a YouTuber and blogger and a lover of words. I remember when she reached out to me a while back and asked to share one of her gifts with me. It's what she now calls her life messenger service. It's LYF, and I'll explain to you what that means in a moment. Let me just say this. We hadn't seen each other since, I don't know when the last time it was. I can say it's been years. I mean, years. And we remain connected through social media. But within the first 5 minutes of our phone call, my mouth slowly started to open. She shared things about me that she couldn't have known. I mean, I didn't share it on social media, my blogs, websites, or even with other people. I didn't share it with anyone. She has a gift, and I'm glad that she is leaning in and not hiding from it. Her name means life. When it's translated, it means life. She's a full-time, lifelong learner. She's committed to helping people be the best version of themselves. She strives to live by the quote written by Marianne Williamson that says, "As we let our own light shine, that we unconsciously give people permission to do the same. And there is nothing enlightened about shrinking so others won't feel small around you." She is no other than Ayisha Zakia, and she is the woman behind beautifullife.com. That's beautifullyf.com. Now let me tell you the story behind Beautiful Life. Ayisha is speaking of beautiful as a noun, and life, LYF, stands for loving yourself first. In coaching sessions with Ayisha, her goal is to help you to rebirth life in yourself because healing, growth, clarity all starts with you. And you can't genuinely and fully love yourself if you don't, you can't love someone else if you don't love yourself first, right? So she has 4 coaching packages to choose from: Duchess, Princess, Queen, and Goddess. And Beautiful Life offers workshops, trainings, and seminars on a variety of topics, all focused on the foundation of loving yourself first. Aimed but not limited to women of color, these sessions are based on their core mission work of loving yourself first. They teach effective skills and strategies that will enable women to thrive and boost that life within. I want you to visit beautifullife.com. That's beautifullyf.com to learn more about these services and others that Ayisha offers. Like if you're into Reiki or course, and there's some courses that she has, and she has something else that she calls power sessions. So check those out. Now I'm not done. I told you she's a professor, and there's much more. Let me continue bragging on my girl for a little longer. Ayisha has published 3 short stories and essays, 2 in the online magazine Encore that are entitled Blind Mate and Rebirth, and 1 in the book entitled She Wouldn't Let Me Fall, 100 Stories of Faith, Forgiveness, and Friendship, which demonstrates the journey to find love, renewal of life, and resistance of a Black woman transitioning. She served as an invited guest lecturer, conducted workshops for women, served as a panelist, a recurring judge for poetry slams. She's an invited presenter around the U.S., and she was also in Barcelona, Spain, as a presenter. She's received her BA in English from Bennett College, her MA in English with a concentration in African American literature from North Carolina Agricultural Technical State University, which is North Carolina A&T, if you don't know. And she's now completing her PhD in leadership studies with a concentration in African American leadership at North Carolina A&T. In addition to all that, she's taken courses at Duke University. She has certifications in diversity training, guided conflict resolution, empowering leader, effective meeting leadership, New Skills Academy life coaching, and she's a graduate of the YWCA program called Passion to Purse. She's the founder of Our Beauty Matters, an organization whose mission is to support all women of color to embrace our beauty, dispel myths, and promote sisterhood. She is a lover of the arts, enjoys African dance, live music, unique fashion, natural hair and beauty. She's an active member in her community as an advocate of living life, LYF, now. If you like, love, or are interested in rocking some faux locks, then you need to check out the amazing work that Ayisha has on display on her Instagram at Beautiful Locks 1. So it starts off like beautiful. So it's BeautiFauxLocs and the number 1. Beautiful Locks. Isn't that cute? I love it. She recently debuted her mermaid locks that are amazing. She also does passion twists and soul twists. If you're in North Carolina or you're going to be stopping through, schedule an appointment with her in advance. Deposits you got to pay in advance. She's not playing with you people. All prices on her website include the cost of hair. Visit beautifullocks.com for details. And I'll provide the link on our blog and our social media. All right, now, so let me share something else that's super awesome. Ayisha will be on a panel with several other women discussing the everyday struggles of women. It's a women's empowerment workshop hosted by and featuring a dynamic Zumba and dance instructor by the name of Latin Diva. Yes, Latin Diva. And this amazing woman will be, Latin Diva will be doing a mini sexy dance lesson for all who'd like to participate and learn a few moves. The event is October 19th at 6 p.m. at Cafe Pasta, located at 305 State Street in Greensboro, North Carolina. To reserve your spot in advance, you have to send $10 to Cash App. And Latin Diva's Cash App is the $ Latin Diva, which is DIVA, 03, or you could pay $15 at the door. I just want you to know there's limited seating, and last year they sold out. So if you wait and pay $15 at the door and you're standing, or you're squeezed up in a corner, that's because you wait till the last minute. So if you want to hear Ayisha's insight, you want to get to meet her, check her out on October 19th at Cafe Pasta in Greensboro, North Carolina. You can also get more details on Facebook. So search Latin Divas Women's Empowerment Workshop. And as always, I'll provide the link on our blog. It is also featured. It will be also featured in the details section of this podcast. So when you click on the podcast, you should see the details, and you can click on that, and you'll be able to get the link there as well. Now, I want you to make sure you have Ayisha's information. Don't forget to visit her website, beautifullyf.com. Follow her on Instagram at beautifullyf_. On Facebook, you can go to Beautiful LYF, Love Yourself First, all one word. I love you, Ayisha. I'm extremely proud of you. Keep living that beautiful life, loving yourself first. Yes. Woo. All right, now let's pivot slightly. Let's fly from North Carolina, head over to Chicago, down to Atlanta to visit the Rose brand. If you need graphic design for logos, flyers, ebooks, social media graphics, and other marketing collateral, website design, or business consulting in the areas of branding, marketing, and event management, then consider contacting the Rose brand. They serve Chicago and Atlanta, but I'm sure they won't turn you down if you're somewhere else around the globe. The Rose brand specializes in small, medium-sized businesses. They customize their services to meet your needs, whether you need someone to talk through an idea with you or you need to delegate the responsibilities for an aspect of your business. The Rose brand is committed to approaching each project just like it were their own, with excellence, dedication, and precision. Just think of them as your partner in business. So, who's the woman behind the Rose brand? Well, her name is Stephanie Lee, and she and I met several years ago through my ex-husband's nonprofit, Operation Hope. I was excited to see that she poured her talent, skills, dreams, and gifts into a business. I'm so proud of her. To learn more about the Rose brand and Stephanie Lee, please visit therosebrand.com and follow on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Just go to The Rose Brand. Stephanie, I am proud of you. I am so extremely proud of you. We're going to do this. Matter of fact, I'm trying to send as much business as I can your way. All right, so let's head to Los Angeles, California, my hometown. Whoop, whoop. Let's focus on fashion, and a man who blessed me with some creations that rocked my world. I first met him in 1997. I was his first female client. He had been specializing in making men look dapper from head to toe. Well, he made me look sugar sharp, as the saying goes. When you meet with him for a consultation, he educates you on the difference between bespoke, custom, made to measure, and off the rack. You learn about fabrics and the quality and what dictates a quality fit. I still have and wear the pieces that this amazing man designed and made for me. If you want top quality, then you want to sit down with this man so he can make your vision a reality. His collection has graced red carpets around the world with notable clients including George Clooney, Jay Leno, Jimmy Kimmel, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson, Steve Harvey, Anthony Anderson, and countless others. Hopefully one day my name will be included on this list of famous and notable. As an established wardrobe designer and consultant, his designs have been featured in films such as Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, television shows including Jimmy Kimmel Live, Fox Sports Television, amongst others. I am speaking of the beyond amazing, beyond talented Woody Wilson, the bespoke king that reigns over the legendary Woody Wilson collection located on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood, where I also grew up for a few years as a child. I want you guys to visit his website at woodywilson.com to learn more and to schedule a consultation. You can also call his team at area code 310-862-4770. That's 310-862-4770. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram at Woody Wilson Bespoke. If you don't know how to spell bespoke, that's BESPOKE. Big hugs to you, Woody. I can't, when I come home for one of my visits, we need to meet up. I'm not sure if I'll be buying anything, if my budget makes it happen, but I'm definitely going to meet up with you so I can be able to just sit down with you. And maybe actually we can be able to do an interview and feature it here on Don't Call It Small. So there you go. I think I just created an opportunity. Hey! I love it. Oh my goodness. So, you know what, folks? It's that time. Can you believe it? Seems like we just zoomed through. It's time to wrap up and go our separate ways. Until next week, if you have questions or suggestions about this show, please email them to don'tcallitsmallbiz with a Z at gmail.com. Let me leave you with a quote that may help you. It's from Gary V. That's Gary Vaynerchuk, who said, "If your organization's intentions transcend the mere act of selling a product or service, and it's brave enough to expose its heart and soul, people will respond." With that, be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Foreman and Associates. And it's all spelled out, one word, Foreman and Associates. We're also on Twitter at Foreman LLC. Be sure to also follow us and share us with your friends, colleagues, and family. You can follow me personally on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Natasha L. Foreman. That's Foreman. Reach out to me, say hello, share your story. I look forward to meeting you and getting to know you better. Don't forget that you can also text us your questions and suggestions for this podcast by texting area code 404-481-1849. And remember, if your business you have an anniversary for October or November, be sure to share with us your company name, the month, day, and year that your company launched so that we can shout you out and celebrate your company's anniversary. Please note the standard messaging rates do apply, and this is a text-only number. It does not accept voice calls. We keep getting voice calls through the number. Keeps showing us that a voice call came through. We only accept text messages on that line, so please text 404-481-1849. I want to make sure that I give proper credit for our show theme song. It's called Higher Up, and it's by Shane Ivers. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Don't Call It Small Business Podcast, for sharing these episodes with others, and for your continued support. And don't forget what I tell you on each and every episode. Don't call what you're planning, thinking, dreaming, or doing little or small. Go big, go bold, or go nowhere. Right? Yes. So I'll see you here next week for episode 17 of Don't Call It Small. We will talk all of the things and the ways in which we could support entrepreneurs, startups, and those needing and to, performing also, needing and performing overhauls. I'll also share a few entrepreneurs. Yep, so make sure that you stay tuned. I need to share some entrepreneurs that you need to get to know, to do business with as either a client or provider or both. Now, I want you to have a super awesome day, a super awesome week. Make it super awesome, make it great, make it yours, and go big. I will see you guys next week. I love you all. Thank you so very much.